Hello, you're welcome. You're welcome onto this channel, and it gives me great joy that you're here. I am Dr. Olayinka Akanle. I am a lecturer in the university. I am a researcher. I am a scholar. I'm an academic. I'm a life coach. It gives me great joy once again to have you here. Thank you very much. On this channel, I do a lot of stuffs, but these stuffs, you can cluster them into sociology, research, relationship, and migration, all to be sure that you achieve your life goals. So if you're first time of coming in contact with this channel, kindly subscribe to the channel, comment, like, and share. If you are a return viewer, that is, you have subscribed initially, thank you very much for staying tuned. Kindly comment, like, and share. So today, I will be discussing about a very important topic within the context of migration. How to migrate or relocate into eternal fortune abroad. How to migrate or relocate into eternal fortune abroad. It is very important to know that today I'm not here to discourage you from migrating, and I'm not here to encourage you unnecessarily to migrate or relocate abroad. My interest is to empower you to build your capacity so that if you do decide to migrate, then you are empowered to make informed decisions. Or if you have kin or friends or people in your social network or kinship network who might decide to migrate or relocate abroad, then you are able to understand them or properly empower them in a manner that can call training the trainer as the purpose of this video. So you must know migration is a lifelong process, and it is not a decision you have to make randomly, because many have migrated into eternal fortune and many have migrated into eternal damnation, eternal regret, or eternal condemnation of self. So it's very important that you are well guided in making this very important decision. So who is going to have eternal fortune abroad? Is somebody who is able to analyze the scenario, the necessity of migration objectively, dispassionately. Somebody that is well guided, somebody that is not driven by bandwagon to say because everybody is migrating, I and my family or myself must do. That's not the way it is. 21st century going forward are going to be a generation of migrants. Yeah, people will migrate a lot on the account of internet, aging population dynamics across the world, and opportunities have been opened up by the internet. People in the age of globalization and postmodernism have more information about countries all over the world. Many countries are also making their visa regime to be very easy so they can draw migrants abroad. So serious analysis of your situation, personal situation and the environmental situation will be very important so that you can make informed decisions. A migrant of fortune is very important, migrating into eternal fortune, but it's not as easy. Migration is a very sensitive and a very complicated situation that you must be very careful and very analytical when you want to make this step. So many people migrate for different reasons. Meanwhile, this video is driven by many years of research or researches into migration processes, being a migrant at different points and experiences of migrants across the world that are in my network. So it's very important that this is a well-guided research, not based only on my experience. A lot of research, a lot of engagement, interaction went into the making of this video. Now let's go. Many people migrate because maybe they are persecuted or for whatever reasons, but many migrate from poor countries to rich countries, which is actually the context of my discussion today, migrate as economic migrant. Researchers have confirmed this. Even many who claim to migrate under different reasons actually have economy at the background of their reason for migration. So many migrate into developed countries or rich countries on the account of what we call pull factors in PULL, what we call pull factors in migration studies. Many consider those rich countries as stable economically. They are stable in terms of government. They are more secure, better security, better education, better health system, better hard work being rewarded, reward for hard work, like many said, better infrastructure, and increased life chances. Many believe their children will fare better if they are trained in such system. Many believe their families would fare better if they remain in that system. They have better access to healthcare, they have better access to education, better access to economy. So these are what we call pull factors that draw people abroad. We also have the pull factors, which we can consider are the opposite of these positive factors. These are negative factors in countries of origin that push people abroad. This is poverty, unemployment, insecurity, rundown or destroyed infrastructure, collapsed health system, life chances of families and children being very, very unsure, very uncertain, and a lot of all these negative factors that people consider are reasons for migrating or relocating abroad. We call this push factor, P-U-S-H. These are factors that tend to push people to migrate into other countries. So, but the more important point is that you have to be analytical. Part of what you have to do is to do your SWOT analysis before you migrate, or even after migrating or relocating abroad. You have to do what they call your SWOT analysis of migration. You have to do your cost-benefit analysis of migration. You have to do your PES2 analysis of migration. But you must be honest in all this analysis, whether you are already abroad or you are still at your home country. You have to be very objective. You have to be honest. You have to be driven by research. You need serious data in doing your analysis. So SWOT analysis, SWOT means S for strength, W, weakness, O, opportunities, and T, threats. SW, strength and weaknesses are internal to you, internal remit of your existence. And opportunities and threats tend to be more external, usually beyond your control. But strengths and weaknesses are usually within your control. What are your strengths? What do you have as strength to compete favorably abroad? And what do you have as strength to live a good life, even if you remain at your home country without migrating? You must move to analyze your strength within the context of migration and even your home country. And what are the weaknesses that you have? What are the weaknesses that will make it difficult for you to survive abroad and do well? And what are the weaknesses that you have that may make it difficult for you to live in your home countries? And what are the opportunities around you, even where you are now, if you have not migrated, or even where you are now, if you are already relocated? So what are the opportunities and how can you take advantage? And what are the threats? What are those things that will make it impossible for you to achieve your life goals in your country of origin if you have not migrated? Or what are the threats that will make it impossible for you over there abroad if you have? So SWOT analysis is very important. SWOT. And you must be objective. You must be honest. You must have data. And your outcome is very important. Then you can do cost-benefit analysis. If you have not migrated but you are thinking of migrating, what will be the cost financially? Can you afford it in terms of processing migration and migrating? And what are the costs in terms of family relations, in terms of network you're going to leave behind, like in terms of social environment, your social network, kinship network, even your mental system, your cultural system, everything you have to consider as a collective as cost, here and abroad. What will be the cost if you go abroad? What costs are you going to incur socially and financially, mentally, and the rest of it? Don't forget, you have to, and what will be the benefits? If you stay behind in your country, are there benefits around that you have not looked at this intentionally or deliberately? What are the benefits around you here? And if you're already abroad, what are the benefits? So when you now look at the cost of migrating and the benefit of migrating, you must be able to arrive at an empirical conclusion to say, now, I think it's better for me to migrate. Then I will be successful, eternally fortunate abroad based on this my analysis. Then there's also what called PES2 analysis, P-E-S-T-L-E. P for political, E for economic, T, S for social, T for technological, L for legal, and E for the environment. Legal particularly because migration is a very regulated situation. Countries abroad tend to be very careful, very selective, and they put legal frameworks around to discourage and frustrate unwanted migrants. because all countries want people that can add value to their system. 21st century going beyond will be the centuries of migrants. Countries are opening their borders carefully, meanwhile, to migrants on the account of aging working population and also expanded industrial situation and the rest of the scenario. So more countries want more migrants to assist them in working. And some countries are having low birth rate and aged population. So the aged population tend not to be able to work or pay taxes anymore. So, and they want young people, vibrant people to drive the economy and pay taxes. Therefore, migration is very selective. It's not just random. So this is an heavily regulated environment, and you must be prepared also. If you're already abroad or you are still planning to be abroad, what are the political environments, home and abroad? What are the economic environment, home and abroad? What are the social environment in terms of social network, social relations abroad? And what technological scenarios are available? Work today and even environment, even visa processes are technologically driven. Are you technologically competent to compete across the world? Things are driven by technology, especially for migrants from poor countries with weak technological capacity. But abroad, technological deployment, advancements are very common. So the legal environment and the legal system and the environmental situations of those places. Have you considered weather? Have you considered a number of other things? The climatic condition, acculturation, and adaptation. Have you considered the environment? So these three levels of analysis, SWOT analysis, cost-benefit analysis, and PESTRO analysis are very important in migration context, and you must be very deliberate about this. Migration is good, but to migrate into eternal fortune, strong analysis are needed at cross level. Then have you considered your age? If you are almost 40 or beyond 40, you must be very careful. Or if you are too young, you must be very careful. And if you are already advanced in age, in terms of maybe around 40, 50, 60, you must be careful, because you may not have enough time to build your contributory pension. And the kind of work they do in those places, you may not be able to adapt. And even the environmental condition, climatic condition, weather there, you have to be because I have people abroad who are 45, 50, who are already thinking of coming back home. A friend called me recently and said he wants to return home. A lot of them are on my neck to return home and seeking advice from me on how to approach it. So don't migrate at the time you are supposed to be returning. Then what about your career trajectory? Do you have a stable career at origin? Are you advanced in career? Are you a middle-level career person in your job? Are you a senior person? You have to be careful so that you have to do your cost-benefit analysis very well, so that you don't destroy that career progression. You have to be mindful, very careful. You have to be very careful and be well-guided. Then, do you have to sell everything? If you want to dispose all you have ever worked for, just because you want to relocate, you have to be well-guided. Because even when you go abroad, you're going to make money. You may not be able to afford those things you dispose back home before you go. Mind you, like grass is never automatically greener the other side. So you have to be realistic. You have to be very careful. Consider what you are disposing, what you are leaving behind. That takes us back to cost-benefit analysis. Do you have to sell all your cars? Do you have to sell your houses? Do you have to sell your investments just because you want to relocate? You have to be very careful so that you will not regret it eventually. So you have to change your perspective. You have to moderate your perspective. Reason carefully. Clear your mind. Be objective in your perspective. Not be desperate. Be prepared. And while you are still at your home country, if you have not migrated, get busy. Take refresher courses. Learn a skill. Learn a trade. Get a degree. Don't make migration a career. Some people just wait and say, they don't want to do anything because they just think they will migrate into the future. So it's of no use doing anything. That's dangerous. While you are still in your home country, if you have not relocated, continue to build capacity. Get busy. Do something very productive with your life. Because if you focus on migration alone, it can make you lose focus. You may lose sight of the bigger picture. So continue to get busy, get a degree, And be focused here and there. If you have migrated abroad, be focused. Maintain your focus. This is the only one. Build strong networks around yourself abroad. People that can help you. Join circle of people, of positive people, so that you don't lose sight of what you have to do. Is it compulsory for you to migrate? You have to answer that question very effectively. Is it compulsory? If it's compulsory, why is it compulsory? Are there alternatives to migration? I love that point. Are there alternatives? Are there alternatives? Is it compulsory? Is migration or relocating abroad the only way for you to be fortunate or to live in eternal fortune in your life? Answer that question. Is it compulsory? Are there alternatives? You have to open your heart very well. You have to be well guided if there are alternatives. But if there are no alternatives, or if you have done all your analysis, SWOT analysis, PRESS2 analysis, cost-benefit analysis, you have considered your age, your career trajectory, and you have considered your decision and your result of considering if you have to sell all. Then, if everything is positive, fine, I can assure you, you will migrate into eternal fortune abroad. You will relocate into eternal fortune abroad if your outcome of this analysis are very positive, generously positive. Fine, and I wish you well. And I can assure you it's migration into eternal fortune abroad. However, if you are not so sure, after all this analysis, that is, you will migrate into eternal fortune abroad, then you have to be very careful. If you are not so sure, if you have doubt in your heart that based on this analysis I've mentioned, you are not so sure, then you have to be well guided. You have to be careful so that you don't migrate into eternal regret. Then, the God factor is very important. God is the all-in-all. Pray very well. Let God speak to you. Hear the word of God. Seek the face of God. You may have dreams, convictions, revelations, divine counsel. So, put the God factor into it. Remember this point I want to mention. Greener pasture is not in Australia. It's not in Canada. It's not in the United States. It's not in the United Kingdom. It's not in any advanced country. Greener pasture is where the mind of God is where God is leading you to. Greener pasture is the purpose and plan of God for you. Wherever you are, if it's the plan of God for you, you will succeed. So seek the face of God. Until I see you in the next video, kindly subscribe to this channel, comment on this video, like this video, and share widely so people can benefit. Until I see you next time, you will succeed.